Boomers, Gen Xers, and Millennials have a small overlap in a shared experience of the 80s and 90s. For Millennials, as little kids, barely remembering it, but kids into the 90s, society shifted dramatically in the 2000s and started to fracture and break apart, substantially more so in the 2010s. And now, in the 2020s, it's, who knows, especially with COVID.
It's not.
When you look at Gen Alpha and Gen Z, there's no world that they want to preserve or they want to have. Right, when you mention like Gen Z, there's actually been a bunch of studies and articles about this. Gen Z is nostalgic for an era they did not live in. So, I suppose you could say that there are some that are fighting for something similar to what everybody is fighting for. But the way I see it is, when you take a look at voting patterns, you take a look at media interest, when you take a look at political interest, it is the younger you get, the more fractured and spread out it is. Which is one of the things I've warned about in terms of the potentiality for civil war, in that liberal boomers and Republican boomers overlap almost entirely in their political worldview. Similarly for Gen X and millennials, but they slowly start to come apart. Gen Z is where you start to see that there are two distinct moral worldviews isolated from each other, and Gen Alpha to a more extreme degree. And then within those pockets, you have your own versions of left and right. So what happens
What temperature is it in your house?
You know, someone who's 20 years old today thinks a woman is whatever a person claims it to be, and that babies aren't alive until 3 months after they're born, and they try to pass laws into it. What happens when you get these young people who grow up on Antifa violence, and they say this is the path towards victory, and they want communism? You have such shockingly disparate worldviews, you will get violence because of it.
Well, they've broken the nation. I mean, when Obergefell passed and they disintegrated marriage as marriage between a man and a woman, this is what you have, because marriage is the foundation of any nation. This is how ethnicities form. This is how nations form, is from marriage. And when they passed Obergefell, they broke it wide open.
Well, first of all, they didn't pass it.
Right.
The Supreme Court just decided.
They decided
they'd
to
make
destroy
it happen.
marriage.
Yeah.
Well, then after California objected out of all states.
Yeah. but I would actually argue that the cultural problems happened before that.
Well, sure.
Like you can't have Obergefell unless you have a society willing to say yes to that.
Right.
I think Obergefell is when the government institutionalized those cultural.
For sure.
And it was all happening through, like you're right, it was happening through media before that. It was soft selling all these relationships, all this lifestyle before that, to where when it did happen, nothing happened. If there was a civil war that would have happened, it would have been.
But you know, I wouldn't point to just one thing like that, though I'd say it's a component, because really it's just the idea of not having kids. And that created a generation of people with no ties to the future and nothing but selfishness. So you have a combination of factors. The financial crisis played a big role. For someone like me, I actually grew up, though we were a moderately liberal family, we were Catholic initially, and family was very important, and we understood this, and I always valued it. But the financial situation put me in an inability. I was sleeping on floors when I was in my early 20s. There was no circumstance in which I could have a kid at all. In the inverse, the people who actually had the means, they just told all these young men to go get abortions, not have kids. Kids are bad. Kids are destroying the planet. Then, when there's not enough people to enter the workforce to sustain either Social Security or just general economy, they say, open the borders and flood the country. Now you get tens of millions of people who don't share your values, and you create a country where the Trump base is the last vestige of the American tradition, and everyone else is saying, get your bag before the system crumbles. That's what it feels like where we're at.
It does feel like people are doing everything they can to enrich themselves before things fall apart. And not to turn this into, not to drag it off.
For know how people were looking for people and try to they want to the government player. But
being treated.
Imagine you can stay in the country.
I heard on
I go there because you don't have tickets in the
financial audit, or maybe a week ago, he had a transgender person on that had breast implants.
It's like we keep saying the
Social Security through Medicare. That is insane. And so it makes perfect sense that people will be like, it's over. I'm just going to get as much as I can because this is going to blow out there. Illegals. Donald Trump can't get as many out as we need to get out, even though the Republican Party, Donald Trump and his administration have made significant progress when it comes to illegal immigration. They basically no legal immigration. You know what's coming over the border. They are deporting people, numbers that I would like. People that are for people to stay here. Looking at ways to make sure they can't get bank accounts and all kinds of different methods to leads to leave. So that's the race rates that we had that caused such
Messi never win nothing with it. He stick there. Only for the contract, never win sticking.
There's still people that are coming to the country. There's still all these economic problems. We're still giving away all this money, and we've got all these people that are committing fraud that don't seem to be able to actually clean up. It makes perfect sense where people are just like, well, I guess I'm going to get mine. You know, that I used to be very much a deficit hawk. I used to be a libertarian. I don't consider myself a libertarian anymore, but I used to think, you know, we've got to stop this, we've got to stop this. And at this point, you know, basically when COVID hit, I was like, all right, they're just going to keep printing. You know, they printed so much money, both Biden and Trump printed so much money, and I was like, there's no stopping it. There's being on board the whole fiscal hawk thing and trying to get people to understand that all these problems are going to, you know, they're going to blow up the dollar.
Some fucking faggots online are saying for the Stellar Blade developers to be put on the Epstein list because the chick was young.
A lot of this, I mean, I address this directly in my book. So it's not just Obergefell, and it's not just money. It goes back to a fundamental understanding of human nature. And what I like to say is that modern solutions require pre-modern modern problems require pre-modern solutions, and what we need to do is get back to a basic understanding of what men were made for. What men were made for, because a lot of these.
I don't know if it's true, but I think the Stellar Blade developers they responded.
And men need to be told
I don't know if it was probably on Twitter if they did, but I'm pretty sure they said we don't care.
And if we're going to have our country again, it's going to look like that. It's going to look like men coming back to Christ, returning to Him, and it's not going to be a weak Christianity. You see so many young men veering into ideologies that are American or whatever it may be, and instead of coming back to Christ, they get into that stuff. And I'm trying to say in my book, this goes back to
they just got drowned out.
This has been baked into the cake this whole time, and the fruit of no fault of yours, Obergefell, all this kind of stuff was baked into kind of a separation of body and soul. That God made us body and soul as integrated beings, destined for glory, eternal glory in Him that can only be found in Christ. And men have a drive of that.
Who actually don't fucking care about
this country was Christian dominated for a long time. Patriarchal. Why did Christian men give it up?
Christian men gave it up. I don't know if they gave it up so much as what
taken from them.
It got infected through a lot of movements, particularly like pietism. Piety is great. We want Christian men and all men to be pious and righteous and holy. Jesus honors this. This can only be found in Christ. Ultimately, we should live it out. But pietism made men retreat inward. So a lot of the existentialist subjectivism from the 19th century, German higher criticism, all of which is addressed in the book, it comes to full bloom in the 20th century, and evangelicalism just adopted all of this. So a lot of, we talked about the evangelical base, and kind of that being kind of a lone wolf against some moral insanity. A lot of it got compromised out of the institutions, the seminaries, the communist.
What do you have to do to... What do you have to do in terms of maintenance for your hockey stick?
And they would just go along with these ideologies. And so
what is he doing there?
America got wealthy, and as evangelicals
glue the cap because the cap comes off. I don't like the cap, but we're going to glue it so it sticks.
We don't want to upset the lost person down the street. You can only play that game so long. Once the lost person down the street is cutting off their genitals, and you're still going to say something that say, that's bad.
How much is that? How much is that hockey stick?
If the church is unwilling to do that,
right now, I put it down.
I'm trying to call men back to like, hey, where are the Christians that are willing to speak up very clear moral issues? And especially if the church is compromised, telling men they're toxic, bad, they go to church and it's therapeutic.
I wonder if, just to caveat what I'm about to say, obviously you're seeking to solve for what to say, but it feels like Christianity is going to just get wiped out. And I'm saying that to be a bit shocking, but you take a look at the United States. Christian men that are strong and willing to stand up and defend their worldview and their religion are few and far between. In Islam, it's quite the opposite. Almost, I think, what is it, more than half? They
also do it here too,
and they found it
like on the cap,
believe that violence is justified and dealing with apostates and non-believers and things like this.
So you take a look at what Christians have been willing to do over the past couple of decades, and
I don't do it here
the
because I don't know
nations
what
that were
part
once
touched the
dominated by
metal.
Christianity are just being run
But here I
over.
put in a
And you take a look at Islamic nations, and they're doing the running over.
Yeah, and this is why Elon Musk tweeted that Christianity has become toothless. It seems like there's no agency, no power, no willingness to defend
Where have
their
you
way of
traveled
life,
to, Roman?
which is what all of our forefathers
Like, have you
understood.
traveled a
What
lot?
gave them the
Like,
spiritual
abroad? No?
backing to fight
Where would you want to
the
go?
Revolutionary
Sorry?
War.
Where would you want to
and
go, like,
justify
for
their existence
vacation?
and really
Yeah,
I want to go to
move
South
westward.
Korea.
So no, Christianity won't go away. It may go into a
Okay.
season
Any
of
particular
decline
reason?
for a
Any
while, but
particular
that's
reason
never
for
the
those
way it's
places?
worked. I mean, we saw this with the fall of Rome.
Japan, because
the Roman
like I like
Empire.
all the
This is
stuff
what
they
Augustine,
have
the city
there.
of God,
Yeah.
about. Because a lot of
South
people were
Korea,
actually
because,
back then. It's a similar thing
Again,
that
like,
happens
it looks
today in
really
some
nice.
circles. A lot of people were
Yeah,
accusing
now because
Christians
like
of being the
one on there,
reason the
so
Roman
most
Empire
likely
fell.
we go
Which, of
there.
course, is not
Go one
true.
time China.
Many other
For see the real
Augustine was
people.
making it apologetic back then.
No,
for
everything
why
in the
Christianity was actually
everything in the publicity. When you see that,
surpassed the Roman Empire.
you
in terms of
see everything in
destiny
publicity in
and
these
gave
countries.
people
Was
a vision of
I'm not
heaven.
going to say.
You,
And so Christianity has gone
you hear
through
about
this
that?
before,
How they're
it's not
posing as
cool.
tourists for the
But
World
I'm
Cup,
trying to speak
and they're just coming to
of
commit crimes
practice
here?
right now.
Wait,
If
criminal
we
tourists from Romania and India
Get
come to Canada to commit
to
crimes?
understand their purpose
Yeah.
in life and
They're
stop
posing as
with
tourists for, like, the World Cup.
music. I mean, I grew up in a Christian church, and a lot of it was just feminine. It was feminine stuff, and if they can understand what they were made for, why they have a competitive drive, why they want to dominate,
I mean,
why
that
they
will
want
work
to
that shit.
Well,
It says it's 10 to 45 seconds.
Christianity
Oh, really?
and Christ
Yeah,
does
10
not command
seconds to
us
45
be a
seconds to
woman.
be ready.
Don't do any of that stuff. Our forefathers understood this. That is why they were able to fight. That is why they
Can you
were
help me
able
move
to
this
live their
desk,
lives. I
dude?
think we can have our country back.
Good job.
Nobody would read this book. But that's
full
kind
too.
of my pitch.
So am I.
Let's jump to this next story from Newsweek.
Nice.
Trump
I got a
accuses
small
Democrats
stomach.
of cheating in California over slow vote counts. Well, Trump's got 2 posts on Truth Social, and he says
Yeah,
there's
really,
been
the
cheating
guy
by the
wrote the
Democrats.
disc.
It was already broken, dude.
He wrote,
No,
and they say,
it was already
without
broken. You
providing
dragged it, you
evidence,
dragged it.
If it was a solid desk, man.
he did,
No,
but he
it-
mentioned it's taking weeks
I
to
know
count.
these desks near IKEA.
Votes are all tied up.
The
May
wood-
not be in for
the
weeks.
3 wood came
Under
out.
investigation by the
Let's
U.S.
see the
Attorney's
one
Office in
go
L.A.
back in.
Just no,
It is unclear
don't
whether
leave
the
it.
president has ordered the investigation. He mentioned what
No, you're
he
fine.
said he did.
It's because the wood came
I guess the
Just
argument
have
is
to push
maybe
it
they
back
were
in.
already doing it.
Because when you,
As we kind of the White House for
these
more
are
information.
IKEA, so what you have to
They're
do is
trying
build
to
the legs
steal
and that
Governor of
part,
California primary.
and then, you know, the
The mayor
top
of
part,
LA primary,
you have to,
away from
like,
2 great
push it
Republican
down.
candidates, Trump
But that's
said.
why it
Here
came
we go
up.
with the very
I
late
know,
and
Roman,
massive
I
number,
know.
numbers of mail-in ballots. Now, they got this
No move it
information.
in
It says
Use
10
those
to
tweets
45
pointed
seconds.
out.
I feel right now.
If the
The
remaining
now finish.
38% of votes cast for the LA mayor are all allocated the same
Leave
proportion
it for a
as the
month.
last batch that came in, Nithya Raman will come to within 100
Every
votes. of Spencer Pratt.
time it's fucking
This is so precise that it
The one
appears
thing I
those
have
who
to
the
do
county
maybe in
know
this,
the rate
actually,
at which they
I need to tape this more.
proportion the votes to eliminate
Dave?
Pratt.
Yeah,
And I
because the
would say,
problem is,
yes,
when I'm holding it, I feel like this comes out like, see, there's no like it slips. I'm doing that right now before I forget. Because when I was playing, it was really bothering me.
So, you gotta tape it, dude?
they need to
Doesn't it already
proportion
have
the
tape
votes
on
to
it?
eliminate Pratt.
No, but
And I would say,
I'm making
yes.
the knob bigger.
Oh, you're making the
Why
knob
would-
bigger?
Why
Yeah.
should anybody believe an election
What's
is
this?
legitimate
What is that?
when
A cup.
they have
Why is it so
weeks
small?
behind the
It's
curtains
small.
to count votes you can't
You
see?
think I'm gonna go
You
ahead?
see, you do the ballot all in one day.
like 4 weeks.
People are sitting
Yeah, you're
outside, you
picking on
gotta
the
count
ass.
them, you only got a few hours.
That doesn't
I
matter.
need like a helmet down there.
It
You know?
might be easy to find some ballots. The other
Which
interesting
thing do you
thing
have
about
also?
the results that are
I
now coming in
probably
from
do.
LA County is that LA County is a single electoral jurisdiction.
No,
Yet
I
for
was
some
gonna do this
reason,
right here.
the mail-in votes that are coming
Right
in
here.
deviate from the actual
And make
ballots
the note
previously,
bigger.
the early vote count. Considering you are taking a singular county and all of its votes and counting them, the proportions should not change. Now, for the governor's race, it's a different story. If a batch of votes
If I had
from
to
San
get one
Francisco
roll,
comes
should
in,
be
you can expect it to be
Man, I
90%
forgot to
Democrat.
bring this.
And then if something from Tulare comes in, you can expect it to be 90% Republican. That makes sense.
Damn, you're gonna have to
you
use a
might say
lot
a
to
new
get it
batch came
bigger.
in from
Yeah,
a
that's fine.
liberal jurisdiction,
To be
and
honest,
they heavily favored
Things
Democrats.
are
What about LA
relatively cheap
County?
anyway, so.
Oh,
How does that make sense? A new batch came in from the same county, but this time Spencer Pratt's losing. And it took us a week to find these ballots and count them.
Because when I was
So
when
I would
I
argue
passed,
that there is
it's
cheating, but what
literally
they do
feels like
is,
I'm
ballot harvesting.
slipping, like it's
I
about to
would, be,
fall
I would
out
say
of my
first and
hands.
foremost,
And I hate
collecting
that
a ballot
feeling.
from a nursing home is not a legitimate election. Sending out activists to collect ballots is not advocating that individuals support a candidate
should
for
see one hockey
leadership. It's a
player.
procedural
He
win.
does not
I would call that cheating. It's not the
put
speed.
this tape.
But as for the law,
He still
I'd
knows
also
where
make the argument that many of these return ballots probably are coming from houses
Really?
where the individual no longer lives.
Shit.
So
It's
this was what
funny.
was
He
accused
just
back in
keeps on
2020
taping it
pertaining to
over, like,
universal
so in the
mail-in
season
ballot
he
harvesting.
starts, and the whole
Activists
season
to
he
do
just
outs.
tapes like
They're
that.
getting paid
Until the big no.
$5-10 to ballot harvest.
Damn.
You know, you get $5 per
Doesn't
ballot
that
you
become like a
return.
hindrance afterwards?
They
It's-
say,
if
knock on the
you're-
door. Did you
The
send in
problem
your
is it's
mail-in
good
vote? No,
because
I didn't. Well, why don't you fill it out? I'll take it back.
You're
for you.
never
They go,
holding
well,
your
I also
stick
got
on that
these
part.
3 others.
So
Okay.
they're actually
We'll
good because
take
it
those
prevents you
too.
from cheating a lot.
I would be willing to bet the probability that Democrat
Yeah, it works for
activists
him, like, he's
are
like,
Yeah.
forging
Funny too,
those
works
universal
for him,
ballots
bro.
that get sent to random
And it's funny because
addresses
people call
from people
him,
who are no
he's
longer
not a good
registered
skater.
there.
People are like,
I'd be
oh,
willing
he
to
sucks
bet
at
that's actually
skating.
happening.
The man's
How do you
really, the
investigate
problem is with him
How do
is
you
that
prove it? It's very
he's
difficult.
so smart, he's
Yeah,
got
I mean,
IQ so high,
It's very
is that
tiring.
he doesn't even need the skating to do it.
continuously see the same type
Because he knows
of,
what to do.
the same type of
Like,
phenomenon,
and
right?
people,
There's an
I remember
election
when I used
day,
to play soccer with my
then
friends.
the
Oh,
powers
he's
that
got
be
the
in
whole,
whatever
we
the
were
jurisdiction
better than our
is
local.
say, okay, we're not
We
going to
will
be able
lose
to
by
finish
it.
counting
I
the
go,
ballots
how do you
today.
lose by the whole
It's going
football
to take a
game?
couple weeks,
It's
and
because
then
you guys
there is
run everywhere.
a
These
front runner or
guys,
someone that's in a
money,
position that is
position,
an opposing
and
party
IQ.
to the Democrats,
That's the
and
Democrat.
slowly
But
you
you
see the lead
get so
get
offended.
away.
I'm like, man,
And the only
that's
thing that
I'm
you ever
sorry,
hear
but
as
you
well,
don't like it.
you know, you have
That's
to
the
have
whole
these
point of the
ballots. You
sport.
have to have the
Even in the hockey,
you know,
and all that,
ballots.
it's
You
all
have to get
strategic.
every
It's all.
vote. I mean, there's no way to verify that these votes are real.
Okay,
They're
hold on.
just
Now let
people,
me see.
you know, sitting in some back room writing them up or what have you. And again,
Is
I
that-
don't know the method by which they're doing this, but it's
maybe a
a
little bit more.
consistent pattern over and over and over, whether it be the election, whether it be a presidential election, or whether it be state and local. You don't see that in Florida. They're done the same day because the 2000 election was such a sham and such a mess. We're like, this is never going to happen again. And Florida, Ron DeSantis has made,
Yeah.
you know, made it clear that he will do whatever he can to help any state that wants to get the system that Florida has in place in their states.
So I hope you want to play hockey with me. My team needs a fat
Democrats have
defender.
figured out the way to rig the elections.
But it also seems like Republicans don't want it because they won't pass the SAVE Act. Like, if they would pass the SAVE Act, wouldn't this solve everything?
I don't know if it would solve everything
Okay,
or
now
not.
where's the
It
thing?
would definitely help. And
Where's
I think
my ball?
that there's only a handful of Republicans, and I think that that's because of Capitol Hill
This feels weird.
BS, yeah, bureaucracy stuff like.
You messed
Yeah,
it
I
up,
don't know
man.
if the SAVE Act actually, I don't know if it
Messed it
impacts
up.
state elections.
Maybe I
but
should do
something
this
that must
too.
be
No,
noted.
it's just you're not used
Most
to it.
obvious point that can ever be made
No,
is
it's
that
not
this is
that.
normal. But it's
It's
like you
awkward.
should keep this
Because
in
the
mind.
problem is,
India, 1.3 billion people.
this
and
is
we all
not,
know India.
and then
they have
this
some
is not
problems
now.
going on over
Well,
there.
why didn't you
Takes
just
6
do
weeks for them
all the way?
to collect
should
their
do that,
vote.
right?
They have a 6-week voting window.
If it's just gonna be a
Fair
thin
enough.
little
You want
part,
your
that's
early
gonna
votes?
feel weird.
It's fine. You can have them. We'll have 6 weeks.
Yeah,
and we're gonna
maybe
give
I
for
should
6
have-
weeks votes.
I should have done
One day
here.
they count every single ballot.
and
By
not
the
here.
time
Yeah.
India's
Why?
Because now when I'm holding it,
people,
like that's fine. But now when I go
So
now,
one day,
it's like small.
and that's on
small.
election day. So you know they have a 6-week voting period, but
It's
most
okay.
people turn up on
You learn,
election
you
day.
learn.
1.3 billion people. They have pretty high turnout.
That's why.
And
Well, you're just
by-
gonna
by
tear it
the end
off.
of the
Why
night,
don't
they
just
all know what
No.
put
results
more?
are.
And to your point about the
You gotta
SAVE
tear
Act,
it
I
off.
mean,
Like
whether
it's
or
gonna be
not
awkward.
it would fix everything.
It's still gonna be sticky.
The idea that you
No,
shouldn't
I just
have
gotta
an ID vote,
reflect
or
new
you
ones.
don't need an ID to vote.
So that's just
The
wasted.
United States is
wait.
unique.
They have
Every
it.
other country you have to show it. I mean, every other country. There are people that are pretty far left that I've talked to on the internet that are like, yeah,
You know what?
they're not American.
You're
They're like, yeah, that seems silly. We have to show ID.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
some people joking that they were
Oh,
going
you know
to
what?
Norway
Bitch.
and vote for Pratt out of state because apparently it's legal.
And India comes up again. I mean, are we seriously having to like take election, you know,
Like,
inspiration
did
from
you-
India?
I say no.
I told them, yeah. There's food
I
stuff.
did.
They have a separate ID that is required to vote. It's administered by their electoral commission, their national electoral commission. So you take an epic card to the ballot with you. And that's India. And I mean, again, it's like if they're able to pull this
You
off,
stole
they
our
use
customer,
electronic
man.
voting, so it's all done in one day.
Stole the customer, but the customer not stopping, right?
What could possibly
Brendan,
be the explanation?
go watch
of the
this
United
sword, please.
Even in Europe. I
Good
mean, Europe
chicken
is
feet
far
is
to the,
food.
in a lot of these countries in mainland Europe, far to the left of the United States. They have, like, you know, they have ID. They're able to get the results by the time they go to bed. Like, this is
Okay, yeah.
not rocket science here. But again, most obvious point in the world is what's going on here is just obvious thumb on the scale. I think everyone's been ranting and raving about it so long that's kind of desensitized us to the fact that, like, literally we don't have fair elections in the United States. And that's, like, something that when you utter we do not have fair elections in a democracy, you should be like trembling when you say that, because that quite literally means the foundation of your country, the thing that you're buying into, doesn't exist. But on conservative shows, we just say it so much, and President Trump says it so much that it kind of loses its punch. But like when I say that, when I say we do not have fair, legitimate elections in our largest state in our country, that should be like a terrifying proposition. But we just say like, yeah, I know, the fix is in, it is what it is.
Well, I mean, that goes back to the point earlier that we were talking about, where people are just kind of like checking out. They're just like, well, I guess there's nothing we can do about it.
Right.
When your population feels so impotent to be able to do anything, you do say people, well, I guess there's nothing I can do.
Spencer Pratt is popular enough, and I think he's demonstrated such just how a politician ought to be, and going into the 21st century, that I would imagine, based on what I know of the Trump administration, the people staffing it, they're fully aware that Spencer Pratt in a normal election would be, at least politically viable, right? I mean, LA's a very liberal place, obviously, so it's not safe.
You can just like
it's not fair to say he would win in a landslide, like some people say, but it would be fair to say Rick Caruso, the last right-wing candidate in Los Angeles, not right, he's a centrist, ran out as a Democrat. He lost by about 10 points. I think he got about 43% of the vote, or 44% of the vote. That's Rick Caruso. God, no one even knows what he looks like or sounds like. Spencer Pratt, he's on everyone's television, by all accounts very popular. All this to say, I think there's people within the Trump administration that, as we speak, are combing through what options the Trump administration would have, again, if they were truly convinced that this election in Los Angeles is fraudulent. So I don't think it would be fair to say that, what some people are going to say is Trump should go do something about it. I am fairly certain that they're going to comb through whatever they have at their disposal, because this is another thing that's parroted on conservative talk shows, is that, well, it's Los Angeles, who cares? We should fight for... It's like, that's the second biggest city in the country. 30% of it, give or take, are still Republicans. They have the right to fair governance, even if we maybe think the Democrats don't deserve anything. In addition to that, there's still a lot of capital concentrated, whether it's like fiscal capital or quite literally cultural capital that's concentrated in Los Angeles County. No, the United States won't be great if California's not great. I know that's like a really freezing cold take to hear and this is coming from me. I'm from Tennessee. You think do you think I'm a big fan of California? Not really, but I do understand that we need New York City firing on all cylinders. We need Los Angeles firing on all cylinders, because when our country was great, those two cities were quite nice places, and they really pushed above their weight.
It doesn't feel like the Trump administration is doing everything they can be doing as it pertains to election rigging and ballot harvesting. Certainly, the redistricting
you still
is
go to
good.
barber
Trump has applied
shops.
pressure, but it would seem that, at least on the surface, I feel like to a regular person, the efforts of the Trump administration to deal with electoral issues is for Trump to say things.
Well, I think, I partially, I understand why people would say that.
How much do you used to pay for a haircut?
To be fair to Trump, this would require an act of Congress. He's endorsed the SAVE Act. He said, like, multiple times, he'll primary people that are opposed to the SAVE Act. He came through on that promise with, John Cornyn seemed to be one of the guys jamming up the SAVE Act. He weighed in, endorsed Ken Paxton, brilliant by Ken Paxton, by the way. In addition to that, Trump is trying to ram through an EO, where if the SAVE Act fails, it's basically dead. The SAVE Act's not going to happen. He is trying to ram through an EO. That's all he can really do. So,
You mean the post office one?
Do your exercises, dog.
Yeah, but it doesn't quite have the same degree. It doesn't have quite the same scope as the voter.
Where's the infrastructure in the Trump administration
This guy
to be
says
dealing with these
Saturday,
things?
dude. Like, that means something to me.
I am excited to see Bill Pulte as DNI. It's going to get real interesting. Todd Blanche, Trump says he's going to move him forward as just AG. He's going to nominate him for AG. These are good things. So I am excited. I'm hoping, based on what we've seen right now. Actually, let's do this. Let's pull up the story and get into it. We got this from Mediaite. Karl Rove reveals why Democrats' polling lead might not be enough for a blue wave. Now, take him at his word, I guess. The point Karl Rove brings up is that Democrat favorability is lower than Republicans right now, where historically they should have a double-digit lead. This is absolutely crazy. You then factor in, this is the current map, congressional map. 211 seats are Republican, 205 are Democrat. This means Republicans have to win less in order to keep control of the House. When you take a look at the Senate race, you can see that it's 50 Republican seats with 46 Democrats, but that includes 2 of them being independent. Democrats would have to win every toss-up state and flip at least one Republican state, which it doesn't even look like they're going to be able to flip Maine with Graham Plattner being ripped to shreds by the corporate press. Somehow, and I love to bring this up, people are still betting big on Democrats sweeping with the plurality on call sheet. In Maine, it has flipped now. The probability that the market is giving for the Republican Party to win is 52. So let me just say this. It's looking real bad for Democrats. Send that hopium straight into my veins. What I am hoping is that with the procedural moves made by the Trump administration, with his election integrity army, meaning Trump expects to have some kind of watchdog going on, or at least the pressure of, making it more difficult for Democrats to pull shenanigans. But with the redistricting efforts, Republicans may at least hold Congress a little bit. And if they do, I hope Trump unleashes the dogs of war after the midterms. I am hoping that what we see after the midterms is a bit more gruff, aggressive, and brutal than what we have been seeing now. And I want to caveat, people really need to understand that when Trump said drain the swamp, and then he shut down USAID, that was a large portion of the swamp. Don't get me wrong, he's friends with swampy monsters. Lindsey Graham's got a seat right next to that throne, which is nasty. But USAID being shut down was one of the most aggressive and brutal things a president could have done to curtail the deep state and drain the swamp. So, amazing work. I'm just hoping that all of these dirty games we see played by the Democrats, like in California, oh, it's going to take us a month to figure out who won. In a city? You want to make the argument about the state, and I'll roll my eyes. You make the argument about LA County. It's like, bro, you're not talking about a statewide race. You're talking about a city. Come on. I'm hoping Trump just unleashes the dogs of war after he says, okay, we're going to go send federal watchdogs. There's going to be direct federal management on how you're handling your elections. Sue me. I hope he goes nuclear.
I mean, I would love to see it as well. I mean, I don't know. I'm still confident. Yeah, I mean, I'm still of the opinion that if the economy is in the toilet, the Republicans are going to lose. If the economy is not in the toilet, the Republicans can win. I think if the economy takes a significant downturn before Election Day, they have no chance, no matter what the polls say now. It would be great to see the Republicans hold on to the House and Senate and have Donald Trump not have to worry about, the administration not have to worry about just endless inquiries and impeachment, papers filed and stuff. I don't know that I have high hopes yet. We'll see as it gets closer to Election Day.
Yeah, because the gas prices are totally freaking people out. I mean, it's a real problem.
Yeah.
And unless we can figure out a way, and I don't know what mechanisms of power can be used, but the economy has to turn around at least when people are going to the pump, because it's not building a lot of confidence in voters' minds for the current president.
Regular is $4.24.
Well, it's $4.60. It's crazy how expensive.
Mid-grades $4.75, premiums $5.12. Diesel. Here's the real trick, people. The real secret is you got to watch diesel. I understand that when you go to the pump, you're like, oh man, gas at $4 is brutal, and it is brutal. But when diesel is really, really high, that means everything is going to go up, and it's going to get real bad. We had this debate in the uncensored portion of the show. You guys should check it out with Myron Gaines last night. His argument was the war in Iran is for Israel, and all of the actions taken by the Trump administration that seem to line up are unrelated or just coincidental. I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but the general idea I made was, or I posited is, they take out all the drug traffickers and criminal element in the Caribbean, these narco terrorists and boats. Why did they decide to do that? Good question. They then move in on Venezuela. Why did they do that right now? Well, it's an interesting question. Surrounding Cuba, securing the Panama Canal from China, trying to secure the Northwest Passage, access to Greenland, and then, of course, the Suez is a large component, hence the war with Iran. My argument is taking out the drug traffickers was to clear traffic lanes for oil ships that are going to be coming from the Gulf, which is happening now. Taking oil from Venezuela is because Donald Trump wants to secure energy for the Western Hemisphere and for American interests. You factor in the Panama Canal and Northwest Passage. Those are paramount if you are going to be the principal oil exporter of the world. If you're going to be the dominant oil producer and trader, you need to be able to access the other parts of the world. So these trade routes are extremely important. Then you get the war in Iran, and my argument is Trump is not reopening the strait. Trump is yo-yoing these negotiations. If he wanted to straight open, he could leave. Myron's argument was he can't because he needs a political win. My argument is that does not account for all of the actions taken previously, such as sending an armada there, securing oil. It seems like Trump is taking all of these actions for the purpose of shutting down Eastern oil production, cutting off China, and centering the world's energy in the West, in the United States, through the Gulf. That being said, Myron said he did not believe that was a good thing for America, nor was it America first. I would simply agree and say it would appear that if this is the case, Donald Trump's strategy is we're going to give the world a fever. We are going to make our enemies suffer more than we suffer, but everybody suffers all the way down. So the American people are going through tremendous hardship with these gas prices. The economy is not in good shape. YouGov poll showed that around half of people polled believe the economy is on the verge of collapse. A third believe the economy is going to collapse, and there will be a civil war. Hey, thanks, YouGov. You know, I'm always interested in that polling data. The housing market's in trouble as sellers are giving up and pulling their houses off the market to just sit on them, which is creating a weird phenomenon. And arguably, gas prices are a principal component in why everything is getting crazy. If this is true, Donald Trump, the Republicans are going to be in trouble. This is their war. These are their policies. Now, I'm wondering if maybe the strategy is, maybe in September, maybe in October, Trump's October surprise is the Strait finally reopens because Trump just leaves. Gas prices come down, and instantly everybody feels a pressure release, which creates the mirage of improvement. Entering a midterm, feeling like everything just got really good thanks to Trump, forgetting that several months ago, it is the war in Iran, for which Trump is president, that caused it all. That could be a strategy. It's kind of like, you ever go into the covers and you get real, real hot, and then you come out of the covers and you feel cold, even though it's still hot? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's what it seems like Trump is doing.
Yeah, and Trump doesn't have great options right now as far as getting the gas price down with the global energy pinch, because one thing he could do is repeal the gas tax. That would drop it by about 30 cents per gallon. That's fair. But a lot of people have proposed, and this is like more of a populist proposal, is, well, we should just tariff oil exports. And we did that for a long time. We did that, I think, starting in the 60s or 70s. And I think it was like 2015 is when Congress finally lifted it. The problem with that, why did Congress lift the oil export in 2015? Well, because that's actually impedes our domestic oil production, from expanding. So like if you're in the oil business, if you're ExxonMobil, the more access to the global market you have, the more incentive you actually have to expand your oil production, and the less or the more restricted the market is, like the harder time you have exporting oil, the harder it gets to run your refineries, the harder it gets to run your drilling and all your related oil operations. So what would end up happening, and this is why I think people should be cautious, saying, well, why doesn't Trump just if we're truly exporting so much oil, why don't we just tariff it and bring that back home? Because that'll give you temporary relief. Like, yes, the gas prices will drop pretty hard, actually, for, I don't know, maybe a year, maybe 2, maybe 3 years. But once the oil companies start losing money because they can't export to the global market, you talked about diesel. Most of the diesel that gets produced in the United States gets exported overseas because everything runs on diesel, especially in Europe. Even they don't even have unleaded gas there. They use diesel. These oil companies will start hemorrhaging money. They'll start closing down their production. They'll start closing down refineries. Right now, a lot of the refineries in the U.S. are actually designed for global export, and it will actually drive fuel up even more. So everyone's proposing this. Everyone's saying, well, why doesn't Trump just do this? And it's like, he can't, because it'll actually make things much worse if you're just kicking the can down the road.
Well, yeah, but he may need to kick the can a few years down the road in order to save the midterms, in order to continue implementing his policies.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's two. It's a twofold problem. Is like, one, it would require an act of Congress, most likely. They could get jammed up the course. Yeah, that could limp you across, past the midterms. But then, if there's a successor to Trump, if he's wanting a Republican to win, and we're nearing the end of the Trump term, and then gas starts going crazy,
sure,
and now these oil companies are lining up to give money to the Democrats,
right,
then we're screwed, because that's what's going to end up happening. People think the oil industry is naturally conservative because the guys that work in there are naturally conservative. That is true. Like, whenever you meet a guy in the oil business, he's typically a conservative. But ExxonMobil, they don't care about transgender bathrooms or whatever. They're concerned about their bottom line. And if they say Trump just screwed us over and he ran the oil industry into the ground, you better believe they're going to be lining up to put money in the Democrat Party's pockets.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody's giving the Democrats any money. They're in debt, and it's just the funding's not going to the party anymore.
Well, I'm just saying this would be a good way to give them some relief if you destroy the oil industry.
I just kind of feel like the state of the Democratic Party is the donors don't see. Look, if you're $3 million in debt, why give you $1?
Well, the problem that Democrats are having right now, primarily why they can't fundraise, is because they still are successful at smaller dollar donations. So you still have your random libtards across the country that'll throw a few bucks the Democrats' way, but they've lost all their major donors. And the primary reason, what they've all cited, is because the Democrats are pursuing redistribution policies. Insofar as what you're seeing in California, the billionaire taxes, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. These taxes, you may, as a populist, say, well, that sounds great. Let's like punish these rich people. Again, that's who creates jobs. That's who creates capital. Like, I hate to go all PragerU on everyone, but like let's get back to basics here. Everyone go back to your Ben Shapiro 101. What happens if you start driving big business into the ground? It actually does impact you. It actually will screw you over at some point. I know that's like, boring take, especially from a Zoomer, but it's like true. And what will happen is you'll start losing elections because, again, if the Republicans started just driving business into the ground, they're going to line up and bail the Democrats out. Because to Tim's point, the Democrats are on the ropes right now. They have no money. They're in like, what, $3-4 million in the hole.
$3 million in the hole.
Yeah. And so, again, why give them an olive branch right now? They're on the ropes. They're suffering. They're completely dependent on their activist base. And if Trump keeps racking up victories, again, if he can put a bow on Iran and get out of there, get a golden parachute, these activists are going to be demoralized. Look, in the first year, the activist base of the Democrats, they were completely demotivated. So if you can return to that, the activist base is shut down, there's no money flowing into the party, it's over for them.
Do they, I wonder about this. When Trump won in 24, it was kind of a wild night. I remember we're live streaming, we were in Nashville, and we all thought it was going to be a long time. I remember when we were talking with the Daily Wire guys, we were negotiating like, hey, maybe we'll come down and do a special where we'll do election coverage there, we'll get set up our own studio at the Daily Wire place in studios, and then we'll do a crossover, and it'd be really fun. They're like, that'd be a great idea. And then I said, I guess the problem is it's not going to be an election night. It could take weeks. And then they were like, maybe we need to plan for that. I said, what if we stayed for the week and then prepared for maybe having to stay into another week? And they're like, that's a good point. And then Trump won handily that night within a few hours, and we were all sitting there like, wow. Immediately following this, every major Democrat pundit said it is the fault of the Democratic Party for not investing in media.
Yep.
We need the Joe Rogan of the left. Has Trump not learned that message? Like, they need to be, one of the most important things you can do is invest in culture and community. Trump should be, I don't know if he can do this through.
Nah. Four fives, 4 10s. I don't know where to say. Oh. Hey, David. Roman wants to know where you have the Olympic rubber 5s and 10s. What? Roman wants to know where you have the 5-pound and 10-pound Olympic rubber plates.
Yeah.
There? Ah, okay. All right. Oh. The plates are for those guys, right? I just need 5s right now. Dog, did you hear back from the places you applied to,
I
dog?
think yesterday I got an email about one of my Walmart applications.
Damn, dog, what did it say?
The same thing as the first one.
Oh, damn, you're hired?
Nice, dude. They hired me for 2 positions at the same store.
Damn, dude. I can't find the 5s. Bruh, I can't find the fucking 5s. What the fuck? Fives.
The one that you just moved is not 5s?
No, 10s.
The one that you just moved is not 5s?
Which one did I move?
You moved 3 crates.
Those are, oh.
I don't know, because you what you used to have it.
No, sir, there are no 5s. I already got 10s.
I'm saying
I already put the 10s up
conservatives
there.
need to be dumping as
I'm
much
just looking
money
for the
as
5s now.
possible into pro-America cultural media spaces. But don't get me wrong, the Allisons certainly are doing that.
Yeah, David, no, we don't have them.
The moves they've made have been so overtly pro-American culture. Don't get me wrong, the firing of Scott Pelley, I was tap dancing and laughing my ass off. I hate these people. And it's tough for me. I never like to say I hate people. But man, when Barry Wire started firing these people, I'm just sitting back, be like, someone give me a coconut. I'm gonna kick back and put my feet up and watch. This is my entertainment. This is better than WWE. So that's incredible. But I suppose I should say this. They bought TikTok. They're buying Paramount, you know, they're potentially going to get Time Warner. Maybe they really do recognize it. I'm just hoping that they're doing something good that seems they're doing. Because midterms are coming up, and it does not seem like they're making large moves in cultural spaces the way they could or should be.
Well, I think the reality is the Ellisons, Elon Musk, who would be probably classified as 90s Democrats, are having more impact on the culture right now than like 90% of conservative media, whose sole purpose is to influence culture. There's something to be said about that. I don't want to name names, but if you look around the conservative space, these guys are more interested in funding their pet projects than they are in like actually investing in like something.
It's all just metal plates, man.
And I think that kind of
You mean like the Daily Wire?
Yeah, there's some dragon, something.
But you already charged the guy, right?
And was really embarrassing and was a total waste of money, and it was the pet project.
That's sad.
Guy.
But
if you tried, I mean, you can like give it to someone for trying, but it's like
yes, but I actually I will disagree. The idea behind
maybe
it
Jacob
is
knows?
if we own Game of Thrones, we dictate culture. And Pendragon was supposed to be a Christian-coded Game of Thrones to try and recenter the culture through entertainment, and it didn't work.
Well, because the problem is, and this is what Elon Musk learned that a lot of these guys haven't learned, is that sometimes you just have to retake the core institution, because sometimes it works. Sometimes you can build a parallel institution. I think podcasting is a great example. I would say Timcast IRL and other night shows that are in the new media have dethroned late night television. That is true. But that's an exception to the norm. Generally, you need to retake the core institution insofar as, what if we make a base Game of Thrones? But you're saying we're just defining ourselves in what we're against, which is Game of Thrones. Elon Musk learned this lesson. How many Twitter alternatives were created? We can name them, and we need 2 hands to name them all. Just retake Twitter. Boom, problem solved. We're good.
Yeah, it's...
Well, I mean, to be fair, then Libs just left Twitter and went to Blue Sky and Threads, and now you've got 2 psycho platforms full of psychotic people.
But what's happened to the culture for the last 9 months, and I can use my normie oracles to fact check this, is the political discourse has been between one side of the right and the other side of the right. The left has been completely frozen out of like the political discourse. And that's not me saying that as someone that's in it. I've spoken to my normie oracles. They know more about Tucker Carlson feuding with, Mark Levin than they do about, whatever Sam Cedars.
Yeah, it's what everybody's talking about. But I don't know that Democrats need, they can have all the debt and they still have a lot of cultural cachet as long as the divide between men and women, particularly single women, you saw that poll from the last election, that single women overwhelmingly vote Democrat. Why is that? Because the government for them functions as a husband and a father.
Yeah.
It's their dependency. And as long as the Democrats keep pushing this empathetic, feminized framework, this moral virtue signaling, and these young women are lapping it up and knowing that the government's going to take care of them, that's their base at this point.
Yeah, we can get super esoteric here. I mean, like, a good indication of, I think, a big problem, what you're seeing is, like, who's controlling the culture is, like, hypergamy playing out in real time. As long as dating apps make up the majority of how couples met, that indicates that the left's winning. And I know that's, like, a really reductionist thing to say. That's almost, like, cliche. But it's broadly true, because that effectively institutionalizes hypergamy, which indicates that women and men are both miserable, and that's going to continue the political divide between the two. We see a restoration of, like, again, healthy institutions that function how they should, and one of those being courtship, dating, whatever you want to call it, turning into a marriage. If that starts firing on all cylinders again, that does indicate that the conservatives, so to speak, or the right wing is back in the driver's seat. But if you look at I think it's the I believe it's the IRS, actually, that releases data on how couples met, believe it or not. I think it's the IRS. It's one of the government institutions you wouldn't expect. They're the ones that actually release the data on how couples met, and it's like 70% of women on dating apps in the last
So the 20 is 1760, and then
institutionalizes hypergamy.
Well, the other thing is that the evangelical church right now, which is supposed to be Trump's base, a lot of the institutional leaders keep promoting singleness for women as like God's
we also do cash.
So they keep releasing videos of articles saying like, no, it's good, you should stay single. It's disgusting.
Can you break down, because this is interesting, you kind of were like maybe hinting at it earlier, can you break down, because I get flack from this by, I'm not saying girl dads, attack girl dads, I'm not saying men that have daughters. That's just fathers that have daughters. That's a separate thing. I'm talking about the specific girl dad brand. Can you maybe explain this better? Because I think I lose people when I start
there's so many. Yeah, I have lots of thoughts on this. But yeah, typically, I think what you're talking about is the
Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, the father who becomes feminized himself, who almost worships his daughter, as like an idealized, this is going to sound scandalous, but like partner, somebody who idolizes him back and respects him. Like ultimately, finally, he gives her whatever she wants. And this is a huge problem, and it is a problem in evangelical spaces, because the church poison evangelical. Yeah, the church has taught them that women basically don't sin. Women don't have problems. And here's my heart as a pastor is like, women are suffering tremendously right now.
I would argue more than men. I mean, the depression rates indicate that.
The depression and anxiety among women is horrible. I mean, I almost should have written a book for women, because like they're really suffering and they need ultimately Christ. They need help.
Yeah.
And the evangelical church, instead of helping them, is just reinforcing the same pattern of life by suggesting singleness and becoming a boss or whatever. Instead of like saying, hey, this church is a great place to meet a husband and get married. We're going to raise up strong men who are attractive to you naturally, even though you're going to tell people that I'm not attracted to that. That's what they're doing. And so we're going to raise up strong men that have stable jobs, that have a mission in life, that know where they're going, that aren't filled with bitterness and resentment, playing video games all day. Nothing wrong with video games. I enjoy a video game. You know what I mean? Like productive members of society, and that's going to be attractive to women. Instead of that, they're often reinforcing kind of this boss boy mentality among young women, raising up women in the church, putting women in the pulpit, all this kind of stuff. And so the evangelical church is typically like, what, 10 to 20 years from the culture.
Right.
And they're living out everything that was like 10 to 20 years ago in terms of raising up women in every institution.
Well, and this is why I think like this sort of thinking, which is completely ticket of the evangelical church, and to your point,
I can reach in there, dude. What the fuck?
The cultural zeitgeist is it battery farms. This is almost like too on the nose, but it battery farms Democrat voters because again, it pulls on like the deficiencies that women have right now that are engaging in the girl bossism because it gives them a sense of stability and strength and a father figure being the state. I mean, I hate to go like Jordan Peterson, everyone, that's broadly true. And then it also siphons off the maternal instinct with migrants, where they like legitimately view these migrants as like a newborn baby that's paralyzed.
You've got to care for them. And it's totally preying on their maternal instincts. This is what women like are literally hardwired and built for biologically, is to be this way. And unfortunately, they've been given a vision of like, well, my baby now is an immigrant from a third world country, and now daddy government has to feed the baby.
I think this is World Vision's fault.
Let's have the story from NBC News. Flesh-eating screwworm returns to the U.S. after 60 years, threatening cattle herd. The case of New World screwworm was confirmed in a 3-week-old calf in La Playa, Texas, near the U.S.-Mexico border. Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins said a flesh-eating parasite that had been kept in U.S. livestock for decades has been detected in Texas, threatening the nation's cattle industry. And I just want to let you guys know that basically it's a parasitic fly that will lay its eggs inside your body, and it can target humans too. And then my question to all of you that are watching, please comment, how do you think this thing came back into the United States? How could it have possibly have come here? It just, one day it got a bus maybe, it rode the beast.
The weird thing was when I was going through Africa, crossings, which is in every country, is they would have like a little pool. So when you're the border, it's very primitive. Africa crossings, go figure, right? And they would have a little pool. So when you would get off the bus, you would walk through this little pool of like, it looked like water, and get to the other side. And I went through like 3 border crossings, and I found the assholes like, why do we walk through this little pool? And they say, oh, we put like bleach and stuff in there. It's like to disinfect your shoes, so you don't track in like any parasites or anything crossing a border that has no fence or anything. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And as the guy is explaining to me that this is what we do to ensure that disease doesn't spread, literally a farmer shepherding a bunch of goats just like walks right through the border crossing. And I'm like, it's really remarkable stuff. So
now, for those that haven't answered, the reason I believe that the parasitic flies have got its country is illegal immigration.
Yeah, and I think that's true. So it's like all of us law-abiding citizens, you know, that are washing our feet in the little pool, the African pool, we're getting the job done. We're ensuring everything's, A-okay. But we have a lot of goat herders coming into this country.
And then they're saying things like, mumps and polio, and it's funny because the UK's having a polio outbreak.
Yeah, I know.
And why is that? What? How could that?
It's the same reason that we're seeing cousin marriage skyrockets. The British people, something weird's going on there.
The old British gentlemen have just decided. They said, dare I say, the polio is a good thing. Let's spread it intentionally and marry our cousins.
My cousin's looking right. She's looking fit, right? She's looking proper fit, right?
That's what's going on. I don't know. It's some sort of woke mind virus. So we have to ask Connor Thompson. He found his cousin attractive.
Do leftists marry their cousins? Is that a thing? I'm gonna ask them. I'm gonna
marry anyone. That's the problem. I think if they were marrying their cousins, that would be an upgrade versus what they're doing right now.
I'm just saying, why are they held back on having these people come into this country?
It's not that leftists marry their cousins. It's that people that marry their cousins end up
are leftists.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if the argument is consenting adults can marry whoever they want, it's never going to stop. I mean, the argument for Obergefell, of course, is like, well, consenting adults can marry who they want, live how they want. And it's like, that means siblings can get married. I mean, that's not a principled argument. That goes in weird directions.
Yeah, they have no framework for this. It's all based on what feels nice to people. And this is the biggest problem. They keep suggesting.
One of Toronto's kind of like that.
Joe's just running at Jamie. This is for costing me.
You're hoping then you have a pinch. Eyes all over the place for the parasite.
Oh hell no! Oh hell! Oh, get the four!
No, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Get the 4. You gotta go for that.
You gotta go for that. Yeah.
Fuck that. You gotta get him. I'm heat checking that all day. I'm wide jumping out with pistol. Disrespect.
I'm chasing him.
I'm disrespecting, bro. I'm flying. And if I get the 4, it's over.
Oh, game's over.
It's over. I'm in full pain.
No, I'm not even touching hill for the rest of the match. There's no way.
This is getting ugly. This is getting ugly real. This is getting real ugly. They are getting. Okay, yeah, this might be belt.
Then.
Yeah, they might be getting belt. Oh, this is a good team. Oh my God! He almost gets 2.
Connor, we don't make this damn close games.
Yeah, how about we keep?
We're talking about money.
You don't keep this closer, pal. I mean, surely they win a rotation here soon, huh?
Yeah. You gotta bring something, Nate or something.
There we go. Oh shit! Finally some points. Oh no! Then they just get insta rebro. Oh hell no!
Jamie's getting harpooned, brother.
Oh my God!
There we go.
You knew what they were doing.
Ah, they should win this. Oh my God! Oh my God! They're not gonna win this. Oh no!
You hear it? Oh. It's a fucking liability waiting to happen, man. 4 corners, 24 borders. Oh, fuck. They can't bring it. Oh, okay. Who's this guy? Oh, fuck. Help me.
They might be going to stand out. He says, my bad, guys, so we don't hear it.
It doesn't even look like they're ready, man.
Oh, no.
Oh.
It's insane because it looks like a dead-ass counter. The way they're just breaking it.
Bro, they're
just getting every kill. Which is insane to say, but...
Nah, they're just getting pieced.
Like, they're actually just getting pieced.
They are getting pieced.
Who's that other guy there?
Okay, fine.
Oh.
NPC, here he is. No, I don't think this close. Watch. Watch, somehow, some way.
Yeah, number 8. What's he gonna do? He's gonna come back to hill. Thought he was gonna pinch for a second.
Yo, it's just gonna tip over.
Okay, here we go. Push through now. Alright, right now, Nate's P4 rotation. Oh, he's still up.
Oh no. We gotta go.
Yeah, those are yours.
Oh, that's a big win in hill, though.
I get them.
Yeah, I mean, this team, unfortunately, has now become kicked to the bad map league.
And Kleenex. Really, both of those two. Oh boy. It might be. I'm not gonna speak. Abe's killing him with a stun in the back of the head.
Sure.
Oh God.
Yo.
Never mind, not going to be a club, guys. Sorry about that. I didn't say it. I didn't say it, though. I did not say it.
He was like right there, though.
I thought it, though. I thought it. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, dude.
Hold on. I mean, I was looking at that.
Better late than never. Who's the guy?
They just get instant work.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hey, Toby, let's work.
Hold on. You know what I mean?
Come on, Toby. Hey, Toby, let's work.
Come on, Toby. Get out that hill. Get loose.
Someone's got to get them damn kills, Toby.
Now they're shooting.
I told you. That's just
Oh, my. Hold on now. This is not sweet. Hold up.
I think David.
They're starting to put it together now.
Sure.
Look at Joe, son. Look at Joe, son.
Yes, sir. Wait, what is it? Is that it?
Yes, sir.
No, it's 32.5.
Clean 31.5. Give me some.
I don't know, man. You gotta call
Get a
David.
grenade in there.
They went off this.
Hey, any contest, gentlemen? They get the tick, gentlemen.
I don't know. You gotta call Davis or you gotta call Lance.
Oh, my.
GG, map 41, gentlemen. It's coming up against
That was not pretty for Toronto.
Damn.
Yeah, no.
They actually got talented.
That's a map they should be at least competitive on, too. That's a 3-sub map. That's the least.
Like Kenny said, that's just a talent diff right there. They were
Turn
getting.
Joe's camera.
They were getting.
This guy's cheap.
You don't have anybody.
No, that's more.
No, we don't have to be very good. Can you see long term or anymore?
Yeah,
We're
that's a tough one.
we're putting the showroom in the back and then just got the warehouse too.
See, I was making an excuse for Jimmy, but look how Dante's going crazy in there. I ain't got nothing to say about that. I mean, that's what I think it is, man. If you're going to run the AR, you might not have that many. You got to get damage from it.
Yeah.
You got to be, you know what I mean? You got to go straight damage from it.
Yeah. Yo, what the fuck? Sifu with $100 super chat. How are you, good sir? Love to see the boys all together. How is fatherhood? Sir, love coming to all of you via OGM, Old Man Gaming Sifu. Yeah, Sifu. Thank you, brother. Fatherhood's been amazing, man. He's a good man. But thank you, Seafood. Fucking legend, man.
Did you say something?
Big old super chat. But yeah, it's
Just asking if you're there.
like Search and Destroy coming up. You don't win this map after that first respawn? I don't know. Man.
Hear that, Roman? That guy called me big, dude.
Let's see how the search looks. What's map 2?
Double Den, I think, the next two.
Double Den.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Toronto's pretty good at Den, S&D, so they could steal this map too. But you gotta
What the
have.
fuck? They said, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, Jamie.
There's some good pens in here, Roman.
Somebody get him a fan.
Don't take him out. You can use the paper.
Yo.
I'm just looking. You know, put some back. Nah, man.
His brain is probably moving so
What
fast
is
too.
What's this aggression, dude?
Losing Joe. They tried
You
to
gotta
drop
take it
him.
and you guys
That
leave it.
one's
It's you and Davis every time I want it. Never take it after.
You start 9 and 20.
Have I not taken more stuff than
You start
Davis?
9 and 20. It's like,
He's hot for
come
sure.
on.
Heavy rotation. It's a piece in the feed. Like, damn. It is not.
I know. That was
double
pistol.
That's what I'm saying.
People are getting knifed.
We're on the right side of the gun the whole map. Like, damn, look at the feed. Why my name on the right the whole map? I'm never left.
Yo, Taylor dropping the 10. Taylor, thank you very much for the 10 bomb. How you doing, Taylor? Thank you, thank you.
Can't be working myself.
All right, map 2,
It's
Dennis
hard.
and D.
Getting old, Roman.
See how this gentleman's roster looks in the search
This
and
is a
destroy.
3-0.
You think so?
I mean,
it should be.
So you're gonna like sledgehammer
I mean,
this?
they could win this map too, though.
no, but it's just a demoralizing team.
So where exactly are we checking
Jamie
out
says,
people
"My
then?
bad." His
In back
teammates are
there?
thinking we don't want to hear
It's
it.
gonna be there.
It's just a
You're gonna
disaster.
check out there and you
Joe's
just roll
at
back
60.
here.
The teammate they sold dropped
Yeah.
a ball sack
You know what I
on their
mean?
head.
They definitely scrolled the scoreboard out there. They
Oh
like,
my
damn,
God.
Joe got a
100%.
60. We were just playing with this guy.
They scrolled it, stopped an extra second on Joe. They're like, oh.
Coach comes in and says, "This is what they do." Players just think, "Shut the fuck up."
They're not even listening to that?
The fuck up. They have new strats.
Sure.
Cal Buskus would have resubbed for 8. They're like, oh, Joe knows what we do.
Crazy.
Yeah, Joe's probably talking crazy. Yeah, you bro.
Did y'all listen
doing
like
post
hella
up.
intently to that shit? Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
What, guy?
I was gonna say, like, whenever your coach came on,
Bro,
and told
I'm
you, like,
way
they did a
clear.
search,
I'm
were
way
you
clear.
listening hella
Low
intently?
key.
Yeah.
Low key. I mean, no,
I
I
hope
like.
no one ever says no to that question.
Well,
ever.
to be fair, I like just hearing like who's their bomb carrier and like I like to see like the strats play out because like in the map you can tell like when you see certain people on like and they're on the opposite side of the map. If that makes sense, like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
when
yeah.
that's what I like. To
I always like to know who played what bombs on defense
exactly
and who had bombs.
That's what I didn't really care for the whole strat, like the whole round play out, but I just need to see like
Because like their subs, they're gonna make like plays that you can't really prep for.
Yeah.
It's more like, yo, he plays A,
exactly.
but he's
Like,
at B.
Who's their A player? Who's their B players? Like that's all I wanted to see.
This is a must-win for
they're trying
Toronto,
to
though.
renege.
And like what
You
bomb
gotta-
they favor,
you
because
gotta
every
take
team
this
has a
match.
favorite
Oh, they
bomb.
definitely do. Yeah.
This might need to be a dirty Neslo.
Oh hell no.
Damn.
Jamie just blinked and he's in a 1v3.
They might take him hostage.
I mean, he quickly rushes
Nah.
B, got to the heady, and they just timed a stun to where, I mean,
Hold on. They gonna walk down.
Yeah.
and that is
Hold on.
Hold on now.
Insights left in a 1 versus
Hey,
3.
Jamie used to win these, bro.
His life now, but
You might have to bring it back.
hunted down.
Yeah,
Josie
just-
just gonna get a bullet.
Okay,
Where's
1-0
There he
quick
is.
first round.
Vesho gets 3 in the round.
Estriel just runs
Could be for
out,
insight, you isolate the sniper at least
gets
first to give
3.
yourself
Oh,
maybe a
look at him. They're in
chance, but
tears.
You got back to full HP with a little more of a chance
I
for
don't
good
like
timing
that
on
round. That was too
two-man
fast of a
pinch
round, Toronto.
to make sure insight not able to pull off anything insane.
We need,
Great round
we need to
for
slow the
Estriel.
game. Yeah, we need to slow the game down a little bit. They are running at us.
Yeah, behind the stun early.
Yeah, I don't know if like the toy nades and stuns just missed because Astro literally just like walked up. And was like, hey, what's up, guys? This is free.
Well, they gotta be ready for that. Clip tells me he'll be taking
Don't even
gambles,
tell me today's about to just be 3-0, 3-0.
Star for him. And now
If
they'll
this is
try
a
it on
3-0, the
offense.
second match could very
3-0.
easily be another
3-0,
3-0.
3-0, beers for the game.
That's gonna be the one match we don't think is a 3. Gonna be a game 5. It's game. It's the game 4.
Vancouver, it's gonna be it's gonna be
that's the last
phase.
match.
It's gonna be 3-0, 3-0. We're gonna have a gritty series, and then it's gonna be game 5 Vancouver phase.
This is what we like to do often.
Abe is trying to
That's how it
flank.
always
We're on
is.
3 versus 6. Abe.
Damn.
I mean,
Maybe not one of the plays because Abe just joins, but you earn the first
Might,
blood
but
and
you'd
now
have to
start
ask
towards
That's
the
also-
end. But Sid
I'm not-
is doing whatever
It's one of
he
those where
wants.
like they probably giving Abe the super green light too.
Quite able to find it now.
Just do what you want Abe on this map.
oh, hell no. He has no respect for his former teammates.
Can't get him off bomb.
Oh,
shit.
wow.
Flanking with the
Oh,
That's
no, that was
good.
good. That
That
was
was key.
Much better chance to hold on.
I mean, they had the read. They knew somebody was going to pinch. The problem is he just hits the shot he was ready for. But still, this is winnable for Koi.
Favorite person?
Oh, miss.
Gonna miss that one.
ACO3.
Could have missed that one. For the-
Ah, that's
How many
dirty.
times have we seen that this year? Though?
That's like the hot spot.
It's guaranteed every time.
Well, here's the
Like,
difference,
bro,
though, in this.
what
He's throwing
the
some shoulders, right? He's
fuck?
behind some.
You didn't think to rush him there?
Previous, he would miss and then wall jump
That's
off
the hot
this
spot.
thing and try to chow
You see a
again,
sniper
but
here,
he
you're like,
used the
okay.
cover
Nah, yeah,
smartly.
he's doing the
Nothing
wall
too
bounce,
crazy.
like-
He's gonna go back and forth. What side is he
Honestly, that gave
peeking?
me deja vu. I'm
We
really
still gotta think
dashed
about
even
the
same
fuse
play
in, like,
against Face
damn.
early in the year. Like, you have that
Let's go,
that angle
70s.
to work with the
Appreciate you,
sniper,
bro.
like, so much finesse.
All right, 2-0. Man.
Relatively easy, but he
Well,
squares
if
up and he
you were
makes it
wondering
look
how
easy.
Gentlemates were gonna look, holy
Seriously, don't have
they are
them.
running their
I'm not gonna
world.
lie, Toronto just gotta slow it down, bro. Let's just we gotta just go to a bomb site. Plant that bitch, play 4v4.
Yeah, right.
We're getting blooded. They running it. Look, 5's dead. Oh, oh.
Still 1-for-1. They take that.
About to take a side now. Jamie's mind blown.
Yeah, they just gotta pick a side now.
pick a
right?
side,
This is
yeah.
where
I
you're just
mean, yeah, they're
in
just.
no man's
Look
land.
at that, they're
You're
tweaking.
gonna
They're
pick
tweaking.
what's going
Go
to
to
be the
dojo,
call.
Abe.
You
You
know,
wanna win the
it's
round,
tweaking,
there
so
you
they're gonna
go.
through dojo.
Wait, is it even planted for
You
them?
see they were trying to make.
Oh, no.
I think it's
Roman,
in
do you
the-
know where we have
Oh, no, it's
BCO3s?
not.
They get eyes on the Joe to see.
Okay, they're gonna wrap it up. Number 8, you gotta go. Toby's gonna make the play here for you.
For Paris, somewhere this
And
setup
you're
is.
lucky that Gentlemates is taking their sweet ass time. There it is. Toronto round. Should be a Toronto round win.
Should be.
The new versus the
Nah,
former.
nah, it should be.
Okay,
There you go.
Toronto on the board.
Farley plays
Don't let
right
Joe
for
get this though, Abe. You gotta kill him here. You gotta kill him there.
Body.
You gotta shut that down. Get one on the board too.
That's a good shit, but your teammates are thinking like, damn, Joe shooting.
Yeah,
You
like,
know?
we won the round, but like 100%.
Yeah, good shit, but like,
Look at
damn,
Kip.
he's shooting. What the fuck?
I can read Kip's mind.
I'd be saying, get that kid.
Nah, you gotta
Kill him.
Yeah, you gotta win this. Damn.
I'd be saying play dirty as fuck for it too. Go back, just get on the board,
I'm
get
about to
going.
lie. You want up a street? I'm about to lie.
He don't got a kill.
Yeah, I know.
He'd be like, what? We might check him.
He like, I might check him.
What?
Damn.
Harris looking to answer back behind Sim Snipe and maybe just takes it on the bounce. Can't quite connect on the shot.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, Jamie's by himself, A. Here come the Wolves.
Where that number 5 player in Insight was, and they're trying to isolate him before the help gets here, I think.
And that's bomb going down today right now, and that's a freebie.
Astral Chowson, there's another first blood for him, his second.
Hey, Jamie, jump down there and get his ass.
Another takeover from Estriel. 4v2.
Fucking Christ.
He's about to kill the whole team.
How he slips in, but yeah, Kip's got out. It's like, oh, there.
Okay, finally. Team works in. 3v2, no time though. Gotta go, baby.
Okay, there we go.
Fuck. Good damage, and I think to both players there. Just on aim. Time is dwindling.
Oh, wait. Ah, he's 2 HP.
2 HP, trying to get back to full power.
3-1 gentlemates.
Take another round.
Surprised he had the pistol out.
Oh. It's another round that Estriel takes over early.
Yeah, I think just comms-wise.
I like that on Estriel. He's got the towel around the water so he doesn't get the sweat on his hands.
Yeah, I learned that from Looney.
That's next level right there. Gamer strats.
But he just jumps out of mid-connector.
Yeah, Dan.
He's caught statue.
It's like when you're eating chips. You don't eat the chips. You drink the chips whenever you're gaming. Of course, you don't touch those shits. If you're eating Cheetos, then touching your joysticks after, don't even speak to me, buddy.
Or you go chopsticks. You want to go chopsticks?
That's crazy.
Oh, okay.
You're going choppies? It's not. It's smart though. For Cheetos?
It was stellar yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, they needed the
It's crazy, but it's smart.
Chopsticks with the chips?
Behind the nade from Kleenex.
Listen, bro. Y'all ain't.
I don't have that in my bag.
Y'all ain't got that chopstick talent. Yeah, that's
move
cool.
up on A, and A is all theirs.
Yeah, Jodeci, I mean, he flies out, gets a ton of damage, but they're just not ready for it.
Yeah, come on.
Do yourself, pal.
Yeah, air it out.
Oh, the old Kips would have played him.
He had Joe behind him. That's why.
Okay then, Kipsy.
Hey, you would have had Joe in the trade for sure.
Hey, that's a good round.
He's thinking I can't die.
So far, it seemed kind of like, just sort of what you expected.
That was me and AT&T. I was I can't die, or it's over. I get blooded, I'll be like,
The first bloods have been clean, not like a flurry of trades or anything. And
all right, 3-2.
they've handled it. Kleenex is laughing and having fun. Vibes seems certainly improved.
No, I was just sitting here thinking, like, the mental fortitude these guys need to finish
Fucking
out this
piece
year.
of crap.
You got to keep it going.
You and I were talking, like, and we didn't go through every year, and I'd be like, when was the last time there was a deal like this? Where, like, a player to the caliber
Hey,
of
3-2. I mean, this is winnable. It's just, I don't know. Like, just watching it just looks like such a diff.
IW Gunless was the one that jumped out to me, but it's been a long time.
Oh, I thought he was going to jump out. That was, bro.
He jumps out there and he's crazy.
He started hitting that little sprint in the circle. He's about to hit that
Just
jump.
to get that movement.
Yeah. About to camera the fuck out of somebody.
He jumps out there. We're checking his apps.
His third first blood.
I'm making sure something.
Okay, 2v2.
Sorry for the wait.
Where first blood doesn't turn into a round win.
Yeah, Sim just wasn't there, right? He was watching.
Who is it? Insight and Kips?
Kips is gonna back up and watch.
Kips is reading this stuff.
Well, you have an NPC and Kips.
Get read by Kips.
Well, he's got one as well. I thought he
Yeah, Kips is nasty at search, bro. He's always